Well, Matt Spottle,
How's it going?
welcome to Songwriter Showcase. It's good to
Thank you.
have you.
Thank you for having me.
The bass player
Yep.
of Darren Greatly,
Yep.
and among other things.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Looking forward to hearing a little bit about your process.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
I know you will. We're going to send it.
Yeah, we're going to send it.
Matt, when did you join the band?
So, what was that, August 2 years ago?
Yeah,
August
3.
2021. Yeah, it was a pretty interesting moment to get a call from my friend Donnie, who's a mutual friend of the
Okay.
band.
And you're in
Name's Don-
Wisconsin at the
I was
time?
in Wisconsin
Okay.
at the time. Still kind of am. I still have my place there, but I'm like dual citizenship here and there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But my friend Donnie, who's mutual friends with Darren Greatly and I, he was helping out the band with, I don't know, promotional stuff, maybe just connecting people together and stuff like
Sure.
that. Yeah, and advisory kind of stuff. And he called me one day, and I was wrapping cables in my studio, and my phone rang, and he goes, "Hey, Matt, I got an opportunity for you out in California." And I'm like, "Oh, no." He's like, "I want you to meet this band called Daring Greatly. They're looking for a new bass player, new producer guy. They just want new blood in the band. Why don't you come check them out?" And I said, "Can you send me their music first? Like, let me check it out." And then he sends me it, and I listen. I go, I'm not joining this band. I'm like,
Hard
like
no.
they would not like me. They would not like me. Like the music I like and the music that they're doing.
Yeah.
But then I called Donnie. I'm like, Donnie, I could see this being a complete disaster with me and then them. You know, I'm not saying I'm better than them. I'm just saying I don't know how the chemistry is going to work here.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Matt, just trust me. I've never led you astray. They want to do new music. I think you could throw a wrench into it and make it into something else, and I'm sure they'd like you. They're great guys. Why don't you come on out?" And I'm like, okay. So, like, a week later, get on a plane, come out there, and I meet him, and it was the first time I met him was at a golf course. What golf course was that?
I have no idea.
I forget the name of the golf course. It's somewhere near San Diego, and, you know, we get together, and I'm like, I don't know. And then I heard
Is
him.
Donnie there?
Yeah, he's there.
Okay.
And then they started playing, and they were doing covers. I'm like, Donnie, did you bring me out here to watch a cover band? There is no way I'm doing this. And then the third song they played was called Love Myself Again. And I was just like, oh, wait, this is
Original?
really good. This was an original song
Okay.
that they did. And I'm like, this is really good. Like, there's a lot of stuff I like it. I'm like, Donnie, this song was not in the list of songs that you sent me. He's like, I know, they're doing new stuff. And I'm like,
Donnie had a trick
yeah,
up his
Donnie had a trick up his sleeve. And then I met him, and then we hit it off pretty good. And then we found out we like a lot of the same music. We're very different. Me and the guys are very different, but we're also very alike. Like, a lot of the music that we like, you know, no one in my high school listened to that stuff, like Bread and other just generally 70s, 60s stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is cool. And then I go back to Milwaukee, and I'm like, all right, this could be a cool thing. And if they're willing to kind of move the songs in a new direction and stuff like that, I could totally throw a wrench into that.
Yeah.
Like, just be the wild card,
Sure.
injecting new, you know, Midwest glory into this West Coast Canadian band. And, you know, 2 years later, here I am.
And you guys are, you know, being a live band that like is there to get people moving and shaking and stuff.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that's gonna fuel you,
Yeah,
obviously.
exactly.
For sure. And me just loving to entertain. I see, like, even if we're at the Belly Up, I see all these people who paid decent money to get into this show. I don't need to go up there and just stand there and convince people that I'm good at playing guitar or bass. Like, that's not the point of being there. It's to get those people moving and be like, okay, this is an experience I can't get at home watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, we're competing with other bands with shows and stuff like this. And it's like, no, you're actually competing with YouTube and people sitting at home on their iPad and their phone going like this.
Right.
You have to be better than what you're seeing on there.
Yeah.
Like, it's so easy to, like, look at a band and go, oh, okay, they're probably not going to be too good live.
Right.
For us, you have to be like, okay, we need to convince these people that what they're getting here at the Belly Up is something exclusive to here and not something you're just going to get on YouTube or like a Facebook video.
Yeah.
So, and it's not easy to do it every night, especially if there's one person there, but, you know, you really got to entertain them. It
Yeah.
can't just be a showcase. This isn't a drum clinic. This isn't a guitar clinic. This is a rock and roll show.
Yep.
And you want people to go, okay, that was a lot of fun, and those guys are out of control, you
Yeah.
know?
I felt that when I walked out of there. I was like, man, I just had so much fun. And like being a, being a musician, like I can be kind of jaded at times, you know.
Oh,
I can,
it's so
I
easy.
just like, like I can be judgy, you
Oh,
know.
100%, 100%.
What are they doing up there?
Yeah, you're just like,
And
I can't.
I just had so much fun. Like I just was rocking out and like enjoying myself. And,
Yeah.
like, that for me, that if that's happening to me, I know
Yeah.
it's happening to them. But also it's like, with I think that you were kind of touching on it. It's like being in a live music venue.
Yeah.
You feel the music.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just you're not just listening.
Yeah.
You're feeling it. The bass is moving through your body.
For sure.
The kick drum, all this stuff is like it's making your heart thump and like
Yeah.
and like that's what we're there to experience. And like you guys are still doing that. And like not everybody's doing that anymore, you know.
No.
It's easy to just like put out hits and try to get placements and that's kind of how you can kind of like make ends meet or
Yeah.
whatever. But like if you're doing it, if you're doing the band thing and you're like people are having a cathartic experience.
100%.
out, like it's
Even
that's
with
what's up.
recording, man, it's like a lot of the times people get fixated on how good something sounds with recording. It's like, does this sound really good? How does this kick drum sound? Does this sound good? And to me, I just gotten to the point where I'm like, does this song feel good right now? Did we nail the arrangement? Does this production feel good? Like, yeah, did we suck? Like, because there's been a few times in my life, DG or even before, where you go to a fancy studio and it's just the sound quality is bar none, but the song totally lays flat like this. You hear it and it just looks like this. It's just like that's the song. There's nothing there. And you're like, what's the point of having an A+ sounding recording when it's just like a dead fish? Like,
Right.
that's it. That's the song right there. It's just
Yeah.
totally flat.
Song itself.
So I'd rather be in a studio that's a third as good, but the song feels really good. Now, I don't mean totally sounding like crap. Then I'm not a lo-fi guy, but does it feel good?
Yeah.
And that's the same thing live. Does it feel good?
Yeah.
Like that's extremely important, because if you're playing a song and no one's moving, but if you start playing something and they're doing this, it's like that is a non-verbal communication that you just had with someone else, and it's working. Like you're doing something that's making another human being that's not in your mind moving or dancing or something. That's huge.
Yeah.
So live or recording, it's absolutely paramount that you get the feel right.
Well, we talked a little bit too about being tour tight,
Mhm.
when you're on tour and you're playing every night, the same songs, same set, there's a tightness that you get. And so like, do you ever just like bring that into, let's say, a recording?
Yeah. There are a few songs that we recorded pre-tour and we re-recorded them after.
Ah, okay.
There's a clear difference in
Yeah.
feel.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's true. It's like muscle memory at that point.
Yeah,
I mean, when
exactly.
you're on the road, it's like being out at war. If you're in the trenches, like you're going to get tight with the people around you.
Yeah.
And on tour, what else do you have to do than to play music? I mean, it's like there's really
Hang
nothing
out
else to
with your friends all
do.
day.
So
Yeah.
you better,
Yeah.
Mazel will be good at the song,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. But like we were, in the last discussion, we were also talking about just observing, like,
Yeah.
and if you don't shut up and listen,
Yeah.
what are you you're not gonna hear anything.
Exactly.
It's all out there.
Yeah.
Like the lady saying, I'm making love with a stranger.
just sitting and eating.
She wrote,
Yeah.
she was there. She's like, hands you this gift.
just
and you're
hands me
like,
a nugget, and you're just like, here you go. But she's like, it just felt like I was making love with a stranger. And I'm like, that's a song.
There it is.
Wrote it down, wrote the whole thing of like, it sounds like a cheating song. I've never been in that situation, but I've just been around so many people who have been in that situation where I'm like, okay, I'm going to grab it from this lady.
Yep.
I'm going to grab it from this guy who said that he stepped down on his wife a few times. I also like kind of writing stuff that makes people just a tad uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
if it does, it's like, okay, it probably spoke to a few people.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like just tweaking a little.
yeah,
nerve
it's just
there.
like, oh, I didn't, I've just buried that in my mind. I kind of forgot it was there. I just pretended it's not there. But that song kind of,
yeah.
remember that time in 2006? It's like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the point is to make people feel something.
Exactly.
And it's not always
At
to
all
make them feel
costs.
good.
No.
It's to feel something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or to just make them feel like at the end of the day, Stranger, Bad Love, a lot of that is, even Trouble's a lot like, there's some same theme going on there with Trouble. It's like, we're all human.
Yeah.
And it's not always like a positive, happy thing. Like there's some dark stuff that goes on there, but if you sugar it on top of some rock music, it's easier to swallow than being like super sad sounding. But it's also like making fun of it, because at the darkest times you got to make fun of stuff sometimes.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. You got to have some comedy. You got to have, and I think that, like you just said, put a backbeat behind it.
Yep.
And everybody can. It can go down smooth.
Yeah.
But then maybe even some subconsciously you're like getting the message.
Yeah.
Like you're still just standing there.
Exactly.
Out,
One of my favorite bands, Steely Dan, I mean, they were doing really interesting sounding music, and if you read their lyrics, it's like, holy crap, like this is dark and weird. And they never wrote a love song. Ricky Don't Lose That Number is as close as they got, but they just weren't in the, I love you so much, I can't wait till you're here, kind of crap. But not now if you write music like that, there's I'm not judging you on that.
Bryan Adams did okay.
He did okay. He did very well.
But there's, like you said, there's plenty of that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's been said.
Yeah.
It's been said time and time again. So like and it's not that, you're going to say anything that's like truly never been said.
Yeah.
But like, just maybe like, what's your version of that story?
Exactly.
What's a real life, like, at least like, when you say, okay, I see the world in this way, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be your story.
Yeah.
It can be, you can make up the story and the characters, but still, like, how do you see things?
Yeah.
How do you see things playing out? The
100%.
Right?
Exactly.
Because it's a heavy load that we carry just by being alive.
Just by being a person.
Yeah.
Another song that's super funny that people, I don't think, realize a lot of the time, Keep on Loving You by REO Speedwagon.
Oh yeah?
You think that's a song like, I'm, yay, like this is a great relationship, I'm going to keep on loving you. And you read those lyrics, and even Kevin Cronin, the lead singer who wrote the song, said, this is a song about how my wife completely cheated on me, and I just decided for whatever reason to stay with her. And even though it was hell on earth,
Wow.
and they eventually broke up.
Yeah.
Probably took half of his everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, but that song sounds so like sappy. I love it. I'm from the Midwest. I was born in Illinois. I'm from Southeast Wisconsin. I heard literally when I was going to sleep at night, and then the Kenosha County Fairgrounds is right down the street, and I could hear REO Speedwagon playing there.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it's in my DNA, but that song is hilarious. It's like, it's not about like, because people use it as their wedding song. I'm like, did you read the lyrics? Did you listen? It's like, it's literally about how his wife completely cheated on him, and it's like
People
a
don't pay
disaster.
attention,
Yeah,
though.
exactly.
They hear what they want to hear.
Yeah.
The hook. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Or
keep
like
on loving
Walking on the Sun, Smash Mouth, rest in peace, Steve Harwell, he just died. But the lead singer.
Yeah.
You listen to that sounds like an upbeat, like 60s throwback song. You read the lyrics, I'm like, this is just dark.
Yeah.
It's like, it's weirdly dark because you don't think Smash Mouth is a dark band, but you read those lyrics, it's like, this is not optimistic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes people really like can. I don't think they're even trying to like play a trick, but
No,
like,
it's
people just.
Yeah.
they
Do you know
kinda-
the song Future So Bright I Gotta Wear Shades? Do
Yeah.
you remember that song? So Pat McDonald, the guy who wrote that song in the band Timbuk3, he's a very good friend of mine. He's from Wisconsin. He lives in Door County. If I didn't know him, I wouldn't have met Donnie, the guy who introduced me to DG.
Right.
And he had a songwriting festival called the Steel Bridge Song Fest up in Door County. It was a motel that he rented, like it was his motel. Him and Jackson Brown bought it because they were roommates for a while and good friends. And they took this motel, and basically this is what you had to do. For a week, you get people from all over the country and the world, 50 people, to stay in this motel. And we go in the basement and we spin a bottle, and every third person, that's a group, and you have to go back into a hotel room and you got to make up a song. And then when you're done, you go to the studio that's on site. There was 3 studios running 24/7. You did that, and you made a song. And that was like my intro to doing collaboration. Because before
Wow.
that, I was just stuck in my house doing solo writes because I didn't have the peers in my area to like write songs with. There just wasn't that many people. I grew up in a small cornfield town. I'm proud of being from there and I love it there, but there just wasn't the musical scene infrastructure that,
Sure.
you know, Steelbridge had. And I had a friend named Dan who introduced me to these people, and that's where I really learned how to like write with other people and take a song that's too long and really make it concise. And, you know, Pat was the guy that showed me that you can take a song that sounds upbeat and make it and have the lyrics. You're just getting away with murder with how negative it is.
That song is so.
yeah.
It was only referenced in it. I saw that on Twitter not
Yeah.
too long ago. It was
Yeah.
referencing that song about
Yeah.
how it's so dark.
No, Future's So Bright. I mean, if you read the lyrics, it's about like the end of the world, like
Yeah.
nuclear war stuff. Like he's literally saying the future's so
So
bright. I got to wear
sarcastic.
shades because the nuclear blast
Yeah.
that bright light that happens when a nuclear bomb goes off. Like that's why I have the shades on. The
Right.
future's so bright, and I'm just like, that was an eye opening. It's like, oh my goodness, I can totally say what I want, but package it in like
Yeah.
a Fabergé egg and
Yeah.
fool people at the same
Yeah.
time. So
Well, you know Hook by Blues Traveler. Do you
Yeah.
know that song?
yes, of course.
He basically says, "You people, I'm gay. I'm
yeah.
like, I am. The joke's on you."
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like saying it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
and it's
like-
all, you know,
Yeah.
wrapped up in
In
harmonica
harmonica,
shit.
yeah,
And you're
yeah.
just like, he's just getting away with murder.
Yeah. He's
So
like,
funny.
He's basically saying, "You're dumb
You're dumb.
for listening to this.
Yeah.
And you're welcome."
Yeah.
I
No,
love
it's
it.
hilarious.
That's great. I love
Yeah.
that. It's like you can really. I love that. You can get away with murder
Yeah.
as long as you just wrap it in a nice little
Exactly.
package, right?
Exactly.
Oh, that's a good lesson. It's just like
Yeah.
do what you want,
Yeah.
but like recognize that you
Yeah.
can kind of maybe you just have to kind of like
Zhuzh him a little bit.
judge them.
Yeah.
Judge them for sure.
Yeah.
So thanks again for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Matt. So I know that you are what's coming up for DG? What's next?
We're just, you know, winter's coming, so we're going to sit in the studio and pound new songs and
Love
just
it.
keep it going, because songwriting's like a muscle, man. If you
Yeah.
don't do it, it's like running. It's like, if I used to run track a lot, and if you were to ask me, hey, you need to do a mile in 5 minutes 59 seconds again, I'd be like, I'm not going to be able to do this right off the bat again, you know.
Yeah.
Like same thing with songwriting. Hey, you got to
Stay
write
in
a song right now. It's like,
Yeah.
no. So we're gonna hammer some stuff.
Also, what's going on with you, man, outside of DG? Anything else?
You know, I'm scoring a movie right now.
Oh,
it's
what's
going to be
the-
on Netflix. It's called Low Places. My friend Max Hauser, who did a documentary on a band that I was in about 3 years ago, he was like, I need a certain type of music, and I think you're the only guy in Wisconsin that can do it. So here's the script, and I read it, and I'm like, okay, it's a horror film. Okay, I'll do it. I've never done one, but I'm going to do it. And he's like, I
Awesome.
need it to sound like Italian horror films from the 60s. I'm like, well, you called the right guy, Max. So
What's the movie again?
it's called Low Places.
Low
It's not
Places.
released yet,
Okay.
but
Netflix.
yeah, the Netflix wants it. It's
Congrats, man.
crazy.
That's,
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the writers
Score.
the writer strike has been a kind
A
of
boon.
a problem with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and I got to go out there and do a cameo spot in the movie too.
Oh,
So,
yeah?
some point probably early next year. So I got that. I got a studio I have to maintain back in Milwaukee, having people going in and out of there, making sure they're not stealing my stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
But and doing a weatherman thing, which we don't have to talk about here, but that's a whole other thing. So I'm just busy. I'm a workaholic. I can't stand still.
And we also have to give a shout out to
Yeah.
Magic Charles.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole thing.
We're going to need more than 5 minutes for that.
Oh yeah, the music video alone, what happened with that is a story
Oh,
within it.
it's gold.
Dude, it's
I-
wild.
Maybe we'll come back to that.
yeah.
Okay.